Welcome back, fellow LEGO fans. It's Bricksie here. In my last LEGO City update, I was discussing the idea of raising up a portion of my LEGO City. And I have actually started that process here over the last few days. And you can see it here in front of us. Now, I suggested doing three different things. Raising up a little portion of the LEGO City, which you can see is already complete over here. Raising up the entire LEGO City, or doing nothing at all. And obviously I've started making some changes here, and it's actually sort of a hybrid change here, because as I started making changes, I found some other opportunities or room for growth in the LEGO City here, so I've made some other changes besides the raised platform. So right over here on the right side of my LEGO room, we can see the raised platform. It now sits on the base LEGO table. And one of the reasons I call this a hybrid idea of one of the three options I had last time is because it is different. So prior to making this change here, the base table right here was 30 inches. And I decided to increase the size of that base table by 10 inches. So it's now a 40-inch base table. So I've added one base plate all the way along the bottom here by expanding it the 10 inches. And then what I did is I just took the 30-inch table that was there prior, and I put some legs on it, and I raised it up 6.5 inches sort of off that base table. So it really did work out for me, and it was actually pretty easy to do. I just went to the hardware store. I got two big pieces of plywood cut to 40 inches, and they actually just cut it right at the hardware store for me. And you can see that one here, and I laid that down on the table, and then I took the existing plywood that used to top the table, and I stuck the legs on, and I put it there, and that's the 30-inch piece. So that really worked out for me quite well, and I think it's going to look pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the trains here down in front. You can see I've sort of mocked up something here using some straight tracks, some switch tracks, and a little bit of curved. So I've actually been able to expand it to 2 train lines running there. So what I'll be able to do is park one of the trains there and then have the other ones going around the circuit. So it just gives me sort of a parking spot for a train. Now you can see here, like I suggested, this was 6.5 inches I raised up this table here, and it is going to take a lot of LEGO bricks to sort of face that entire thing there. So I don't have enough bricks at this point, but it is something I will be working on in the future. And it's something that I have to think about, because I don't know if I'm going to cover it all with bricks like a cliff edge, similar to the Ninjago district over here, or if I'm going to do like a cement sort of barricade type thing, or I could even just leave it open so I can get right down in here and see other trains pass through underneath the table, and maybe build like some scenes and whatnot underneath the table. I think that might be pretty cool too, and a little bit different. Sure, it won't look authentic like an authentic LEGO City, but I think you'll be able to see more. You'll be able to visualize more underneath the platform. So I think that might be an option, and also it'll be a less part intensive option, because building like a facade or a face all the way along here will consume quite a bit of pieces. So the trains will actually run from the train yard over here, and they'll go right underneath there too. You can see it sort of stops there, and they'll go underneath there and split into multiple lines right underneath there. So I'll be able to park more trains underneath there if I wanted. So expanding this to 10 inches here gave me a lot more space. It gives me one base plate all the way along, and I was able to move my LEGO factory, so now there's actually a road circling around it, and you can actually see the face of it. That's another nice addition to the changes there as well. Now, something else I did, I also expanded the table on this side here where you can see all these other modular buildings. So that was a 30-inch table as well, and I actually made it a 40-inch table, which is the same as this one. So I've added a whole nother row of base plates over here. So you can see them sand on this side and then green on this side, along with the gas station there, the Octane gas station. So I plan on putting some low buildings here I don't really know what yet. Some low buildings of some sort so they don't block the view of my modulars, but I will have some sort of buildings there. I'm considering moving my residential, maybe putting my residential right there. That might look good because they are low structures that look really good, and I think they would look pretty good there. That might be a nice fit, and then that'll give me some space here to put my strip mall where the residential buildings sit over here, and also the Toys R Us, because whatever sits there you're going to see the backside of, and it's going to sort of block the view of the modular buildings. And when I look at the back of my strip mall, it's not the most eye appealing thing, so maybe making that swap would be good too. I don't know, I've got to give it some thought here. So for now I have some of the base train lines laid. They're going back in behind the modular buildings here and coming around the front here, split into two lines, and then they'll go back to one line, and then they'll come back through here and then go back to the train yard and do a loop so that trains can loop around, sort of like how they used to in the old layout, I guess. Well, the now old layout. And then the SkyTrain line will do the same. We'll just come down here, come around, then it'll connect to the upper platform, and that'll have a train line that goes, or a rail that goes in behind all these buildings, and then it'll come back here. It'll go back onto its supports, go in behind all these modular buildings, come back around, loop over here just like it used to, all the way around, and then connect back to the train station over there. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is this is the private island, which is currently being used as a workstation. Excuse the mess. I got all my vehicles here sitting in these baking trays. Actually, really convenient putting vehicles in baking trays, as you can just move them around rather than having to move them one by one. I can move 20 vehicles just by placing them all into a baking tray. So that's a cool little tip that I like to do there. Use the fiance's baking trays for my Lego vehicles. But you can see the private island is sitting here right in the middle of this room. Now, it used to be in the middle so you could walk all the way around it. And what I've actually done here is I've centered it and I've pushed it right up against the table there. And now this private island is going to have an entrance. So you're going to be able to drive your vehicle here. There's going to be a gate. So it's a gated community that you can drive into here now. Gated community for my sig fig, and it's going to be the garage. Well, obviously won't be sitting there. I'll probably put it off to the side here along with the mansion, and then it's hard to visualize now, but then the same old stuff there too. So there'll be the horse stable and the private beach and the boats and all that stuff there. So I think that's a really nice touch now that you can actually access the private island by road, and I'll actually be able to, well, my sig fig will be able to drive his vehicles into the city. You won't have to ferry them using a boat or a yacht. And you know what? It's still nice and open here. I can still get around pretty easily, you know, through on either side. So I'll be able to access all portions of the Lego city, and it makes it really easy to edit things because it's so nice and open and still really enjoyable to be down here. Now, in regards to the change, why did I decide to do the change? Well, it's a Lego city, and that's one of the best things about Lego is you can just keep on changing it and evolving, and I really enjoy just tearing everything apart and putting it back together again. And you know, I think this raised platform is the start of a next step for me. It's gonna be really nice. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention about the raised platform is obviously there's no roads connecting yet. I do plan on getting some angled road slopes just like this one here, connecting the lower base table to the upper platform on either side. So that will take place here right away as well. And then right behind me here, I've been doing lots of work in and out of the Lego room, so you can see I've never showed this off yet, but I got the hinge down, and it is the hinged ocean that connected that SkyTrain. And actually, because I've expanded the table over here 10 inches, that moved this whole table over 10 inches, so I actually have to lop 10 inches off my board there, which is actually going to work because once I lop 10 inches off the board, it's going to go right down flush and then it'll come back up. So that's going to be pretty cool once I get that going as well. So that's the hinge board there that I use to connect my trains. So lots going on here in the Lego city. It's sort of still a big mess, guys. I realize that, but I think the end game is going to look pretty cool here. And I'm glad that I decided to go with the hybrid platform, where I just have the portion over here, because I really didn't want to move these sets over here, because I really like looking at those sets as I'm sitting here working in the Lego room. I think it really adds to the overall look and appearance of the Lego room, obviously. And yeah, sort of put this Avengers Tower one plate over here just to give it some more depth and dimension. Let me know what you guys think of all these changes by commenting below. I'm a huge fan of it already, and I really like how I've opened up a thing of base plates there, and I've opened up access to the private island, and I've raised that up. So, and I've gained a whole bunch of space and a whole bunch of space for trains underneath there. So I think the future is bright here in my Lego room and my Lego city. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Do appreciate the view. If you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Stay tuned for some more great stuff. Have a great day.